Everybody told me Jay was corny and whack. Everybody told me not to f with him. And I did it, and look what out. A Lyor Cohen, a Jay Z, all of that. I just, they all would seem like they be working together. Over, pause. It's like, it's been 20 years.
Conspiracy against me, because in the absence of the truth, bullshit will prevail. So as long as nobody out there spitting real, you can come out with it.
How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. Because at first you retire, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again.
Man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent, it's about playing the game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in.
Dame Dash is stirring up drama again, and this time he's going straight for Jay Z and his mentor, Lyor Cohen. He's claiming they plotted together to push DMX out the way, all so they could rise to the top. Fans aren't letting it slide either. They're dragging Jay Z, saying he pretends to uplift the culture while secretly tearing down the very artists he claims to support. Dame's coming with bold accusations saying Jay and Lyor didn't just step on people, they sacrificed black talent to level up. And the saddest part, DMX saw it all coming. He tried to warn folks. He spoke out.
No? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. Because at first you retire, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again. Okay.
But nobody had his back until it was too late. We already know Dame Dash and Jay Z have been locked in a Cold War for years, but Dame's not backing down. Sure, some people call him salty or stuck in the past, but what if he's just been telling the truth all along? He's saying this goes way deeper than old beef, and now he's naming names and telling stories the industry hoped would stay buried. Dame Dash says this isn't just about Jay Z. It's about a much bigger game being played behind the scenes. He's been speaking on this for years, but folks either ignore it or twist his words. According to Dame, the real issue isn't just Jay, it's who Jay chose to stand beside. Executives like Lyor Cohen, who Dame believes profit off black culture while also pushing harmful narratives that make the culture look wild and dangerous. And guess who saw through all of that early on? DMX. He wasn't scared to speak out either. X noticed how shady things were looking and tried to shine a light on it before things got worse. Here's some background. When Jay Z stepped in as president of Def Jam in 2004, replacing Lyor, he got total control of the Roc-A-Fella catalog. And just like that, Dame and Biggs were pushed out the picture. But for Dame, losing the label wasn't even the worst part. It was watching Jay sell out his own circle and let someone like Lyor pull the strings. One artist Dame says Jay definitely turned his back on, DMX. Straight up.
It was a competitive thing, but it was big love. He was so competitive with me. I never met a human being more competitive with me, like ever, not even my big brother.
Now, Jay never owned up to any of this. When X passed away, Jay popped up on LeBron's show claiming everything was cool between them. He said there was never beef, that X just loved to compete. But to Dame, that's just dodging the truth. But here's where it gets wild. According to DMX, Jay was the one obsessed with competing, not him. X was already a certified legend when Jay became Def Jam's president, with 5 #1 albums under his belt. But once Jay got that power, X said everything started changing, and not for the better. DMX opened up on The Breakfast Club and straight up said Jay sabotaged his career. Why? Because Jay had second thoughts about retiring and didn't want to share the spotlight. X believed Jay was clearing out the competition so he could make a flashy comeback with no one in his way. But it wasn't just the rivalry. DMX didn't trust Jay at all, and it had everything to do with who Jay was running with behind the scenes. X called out shady execs like Lyor Cohen, saying they had way too much control over artists. And Jay was right there cozying up to them. While DMX was warning folks about industry snakes, Jay was learning the game from them. He even called Lyor his mentor. In his book Decoded, Jay drops this exact quote. Lyor Cohen, who I consider my mentor, once told me something that he was told by a rabbi about the 8 degrees of giving in Judaism, the highest level of giving. That quote had people talking, but to DMX, all it did was confirm Jay was getting too close to the real shot callers, the ones pulling strings in the background. That eighth level of giving, it's about making the person you help completely self-sufficient. But knowing what folks are saying now about Jay Z and Lior Cohen and all the sneaky business moves they allegedly pulled to build their empires, it hits different hearing them talk about generosity and being selfless. Like, seriously? So who is Lior Cohen and why is his name always tied up in hip-hop drama? Well, the surface level stuff is easy to find. He's a New York native born to Israeli immigrants, and he's been running things behind the scenes in hip-hop for decades. He started out at Rush Productions managing rap artists, climbed the ladder at Def Jam, then ended up running Warner Music Group. After stepping down in 2012, he launched 300 Entertainment, and now he's the global head of music at YouTube. But here's where it gets sketchy. Some people believe Lior might not just be some regular exec. They think he could be tied to intelligence operations, using his industry access to push hidden agendas in hip-hop. Sounds wild, right? But the whispers got louder after he was caught lying about his background. In October 2023, Lior went on Vlad TV and was asked about his mother. First, he said she was just a housewife. But later, in the same interview, he slipped up and revealed she actually worked for the Israeli government and even helped him land a job at the National Bank of Israel. That had people raising serious eyebrows. And that's not the only red flag. Dame Dash has long called Lior a culture vulture. And honestly, the receipts are piling up. Just take his appearance on The Breakfast Club.
Had a real bad drug problem, DMX.
I'm so sad. DMX, there's two people inside of him. And the Earl is one of the nicest people. I put him up in Lake George. Earl loved being silent with a fishing pole. I shit you not. He just would stay on that dock hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, very, very sad. You know, I think the opioid problem, the syrup problem, is the biggest problem that I've ever seen and I've ever faced, and been a part of. And I can't fuck with it.
He brought up the opioid epidemic, mentioned DMX's struggles, and claimed he was heartbroken about it. But to a lot of folks, it felt like empty words coming from someone who helped push artists into toxic cycles while cashing in on their pain.
You know, the crack thing was devastating, but at least the rappers were bringing a spotlight to you becoming a fiend. Okay? And I thought that spotlight, head crack, helped, even though it was harsh and really really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
But when Charlemagne pressed Lior about why he keeps signing artists who glorify drugs, especially during a full-blown opioid crisis, Lior didn't flinch. He straight up said, "That's how the business works." Just like that, no shame, no accountability.
But being a
So with that
crackhead
said,
wasn't
would
cool
you-
back then. Being a
What?
crackhead wasn't cool. Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
It's
to
the
be on
most
pills.
dangerous. It's the
Perks
most
and Molly's
dangerous
and-
thing that's facing our society.
Are you
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash?
And when Charlemagne brought up Dame Dash calling him a culture vulture, Lior got real defensive. Started acting like he didn't even know who Dame was. Like, really? Okay, Mariah, But for Dame, that was just proof he'd been right about Lior all along. He didn't waste time either. He jumped on Instagram and let it rip. He wrote, "Thanks for this, Lior Cohen, for proving my point. In true culture vulture form, they make money off of us and then try to erase our true history and act like the real ones never existed. He pays his bills at the expense of us."
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
Y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
Come
money.
on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So,
But here's where things get real spooky. Dame says that after he started calling out Lior publicly, police started showing up in his life. Out of nowhere, he's hinting that the second he put Lior's name on blast, somebody pulled strings behind the scenes. And that just added more fuel to those conspiracy whispers that Lior might be connected to intelligence or something deeper. Now let's talk about how Lior Cohen disrespected DMX at his own funeral. DMX's memorial went down in Brooklyn on April 25th, 2021, and Lior didn't even bother to show up in person. Nope. Instead, he sent in a video message, and what he said left people shocked. In that message, Lior basically said no one was surprised that DMX allegedly overdosed. And then he went on to call X a gremlin who crashed into a wall. Yes, he really said that. At the man's funeral, it felt like a slap in the face, like he was mocking X's death instead of honoring his legacy. And this is the guy Jay Z calls his mentor? No wonder DMX didn't want anything to do with people like that.
You've had a song on every album, a conversation with God.
Yes.
You've had
And a prayer.
and a prayer, and I think you've had
Three conversations with the devil.
Three conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had a conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said to me and what he offered me. Say, oh, now I know you are. That's why I stopped talking to him. I've put out 7 albums, but he's only on.
While Jay played the game and stayed tight with industry bosses, X was out here exposing how dirty it really gets behind the scenes. He said it himself. He got blackballed because he wouldn't follow their rules or rub elbows at dinner with execs. He knew what came with those invites. And in his track, The Industry, DMX went all in, calling out how new artists get trapped, used, and tossed aside once they're no longer profitable. Let's not forget, DMX even said the devil approached him more than once. He said he knew it was the devil every time because the offers looked good but always came with creepy, twisted conditions. X was awake to the game, and that's probably why they tried so hard to silence him. Now let's bring it back to Dame Dash.
Man, I was hearing too much police talk. And that's that. And I didn't feel like being bothered. So leave me the fuck alone and keep my name out your mouth. You no longer have beef with me. So leave me alone.
People love to call him out for always bringing up Jay Z, saying he's stuck in the past or just bitter. And sure, that's a fair critique, to a point. But if you listen to Dame and a whole lot of folks in the industry, the real problem is how scared most artists are to speak out about Jay in the first place. It's like the second you call him out, you get labeled washed up, bitter, jealous, or just straight up crazy. That's exactly what happened to DMX. When he went on The Breakfast Club and said Jay tried to sabotage his album, people clowned him instead of listening. They said Jay was just the smarter businessman and X was hating. But now that DMX is gone, suddenly folks are waking up, realizing he might have been telling the truth the whole time. That's why more and more fans are actually siding with Dame. He might be messy, but he's not scared to speak his mind, and a lot of people respect that. One fan put it perfectly. That's always been the theme with Dame. Every time he speaks on Jay, people get mad, but he's just answering questions and keeping it real. And Twitter? Oh, they go in. They try to make Dame out to be the villain, like he's obsessed. But another fan came through with the truth. I miss DMX. He always kept it 100. Everything he said about these lames in the industry is being exposed like a flood that can't be stopped. He'd be cooking these weirdos right now. Rest in power, X. But now I want to know what you think. Is Dame going too far? Or is he the only one brave enough to say what needs to be said? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a drop. Catch you in the next one.